Hi everyone, my name is Ryan, and in this lesson I'm going to show you some of the meta tags that we use for search engines. So W3 Schools is a nice reference that we've looked at in previous videos. Let me take you to the HTML tag reference, and specifically I'm wanting the meta tag. Remember, meta just means data about data, so it's used for various different things in HTML. But the meta tag always goes somewhere in the head section of the document. So here are some examples of different meta tags. We've already looked at the character set meta tag. Now we're going to be looking at the description and the keywords meta tags. So there are some good examples here in the W3 Schools website for both keywords and description. So let me just you could just copy and paste it from W3 Schools, or alternatively you could just type it out. I've already added a description and keywords meta tag into my document. So you'll notice that I have put this below my title because to me these are less important than the title. The title is more important, so it should be first. Ultimately it won't matter too much if the order is different, but it's best to stick to this order. So if we look, for example, at the first one, the description, the purpose of the description is to help the search engine with a description that it can use when bringing up search results. So let's do a Google search. I'm just going to search for frogs. Notice that even though I misspelled it, Google was clever enough to look for the actual word frogs. So I'll just pick this website over here, livescience.com. Notice the black description that appears over here. This description you all know because you see it almost every day of your lives. This description is actually set physically in the HTML code over here. So in the meta description tag under content attribute, this is where you need to type in the text that you want to appear in your Google search. This should be at least about 200 characters long. If it is too short, Google may choose to ignore it completely and only use some of the text that's already on that page in your document. So it's a good idea to create this at least about 200 characters in length. So let's go visit the site. Just remember the description. Frogs are amphibians known for their jumping abilities. Okay, so let's go there. So this is the website. What you can do is view the source code of this website. The easiest way to do that is to press Ctrl U. So here's all the code used in the website, and you'll notice that in the head section of the document, not only do we have the character set used, but we also have a meta description tag with the content. And note the text that appears here. Frogs are amphibians known for their jumping abilities, croaking sounds, and so on. So this is a good length description. And if we go back to the Google search, we can see that actual description that was used here is the same exact description that was in the meta description tag on that site. So that is the meta description tag. And you should always try and pick a description that accurately defines the actual content that you have in your site. And remember that every subpage of your site will have different content. So every subpage of your site should in fact have a different meta description. Try and also include good keywords in your description, or key phrases that represent the content of your page. I'll show you later how to choose good key phrases for your page. Next up is the keywords meta tag, and you'll see a comma separated list of keywords. So this is not really used so much as it used to be. So you can safely actually leave out your keywords, but the keywords do help certain search engines know which keywords you want to be used in terms of doing a search. So for example, if I search for HTML training on Google, many websites come up. I can actually see our website coming up over here. How did it pick up this web page based on this key phrase that I typed in? Well, if I go to this web page and I have a look at the source code, I can actually see that keywords had HTML training included in them. So that's not the only place where Google would look, but this does help Google in terms of your key phrases. So it's a good idea to include a couple of key phrases, so that will help people find your site better. Okay, so the goal though is to choose quality key phrases rather than quantity. So just the key phrases that accurately represent the specific subpage of your site. Remember, each subpage of your site should have different key phrases. Okay, now a good way to choose key phrases for your site is to use the Google Keyword Tool. The Google Keyword Tool is at this website address, adwords.google.com/keyword planner. It's a free tool that anyone can get access to. You just need to create a Google account and sign in with your Google account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my Google account. And that should then bring up the Keyword Planner. So the Keyword Planner is great because it actually uses the Google historical data that people use for doing searches on Google to show you key phrases and how many times key phrases are used. So I'm going to go ahead and choose search for new keywords using a phrase, website, or category. So here we can actually go and enter some information to help Google. So I'm going to enter a product or service. So let's say, for example, HTML training. You can give an optional website that you have, maybe an existing website, to help Google better find key phrases for you. I don't have one as yet, so I'll leave that blank. If you want, you can choose a category. So maybe I can choose internet and telecom, and then internet and web design and development, just as an example. But you don't have to choose a category. Category just helps Google choose better key phrases for you. So I'll just leave that empty. Then who are you targeting with your page? Here I've selected South Africa, Johannesburg, Pretoria, but you can always change that to include other countries and other cities. So let me remove Pretoria and save it. Maybe what I should do is add Botswana as well. Maybe those are the two countries that I want to target. Okay. So once you've got your countries or your cities that you want to target, then you can choose some keywords. Let's have a look here. Keywords to include. So let's say, for example, web training. No, actually we won't do that. We'll just click on get ideas. Alright, so now you can see some key phrases that have come up. I chose HTML training, but it has suggested a whole lot of other ideas. And there are two important pieces of information here. The first is the average monthly searches that this term gets in those regions that you chose. So in other words, in Botswana and South Africa, Johannesburg, HTML tutorial gets 260 average searches per month. So you need to find a term that has a high number of searches per month. But you need to also look at the competition. So you'll see here we have low competition, we have high competition, we have medium competition. So what is competition? Well, competition is how many other websites out there are also using the same key phrase. So with low competition, not many other sites are actually using HTML tutorial as a key phrase. So this would be an ideal key phrase to add to my website. So I'll flip on over to the code and I will add HTML tutorial. So maybe I'll have HTML and then HTML tutorial. So now we're choosing quality key phrases because we know that this has a high number of searches per month and we know that it has a low competition. So you can go ahead and pick some others here. Here is learn web design. This would be a bad key phrase because it has a high competition. So there's many other sites out there using the same key phrase. Not going to help me too much. So pick something with a low competition. So here's a good one, learn HTML and CSS. So let me copy that. Notice also it only has 30 searches per month, but that's still not too bad. So I'll add that on as a next key phrase. Okay, so now I've got some key phrases. Remember, quality rather than quantity. So this would be good enough for now. And then these key phrases you should try and weave within your document as much as possible. So somewhere in the body section, write a paragraph almost on each of these key phrases. We could even include your most important key phrases in your title of your site, for example, HTML training course, and also within the description as well. So you could say something like, we offer quality training in HTML and CSS, and then try and repeat the most important key phrase somewhere in your description. So HTML is used for creating websites and so on. Okay, so remember the description should be about 200 characters and the keywords should be a comma separated list of key phrases, quality key phrases with low competition and a reasonable number of searches per month. And that brings us our lesson to an end.